This is a wonderful occasion, and I think the first time that we've come to the Taj Lands End in this particular area. We've done one or two events inside, and who would have thought at this time of year Mumbai would be so very pleasant? But I think it has something to do with these coolers there, which are blowing wonderful cool air. But of course, more than that, more than the setting, it's the people who are here. Literature Live has developed a huge audience all over the city. But today I see a lot of new faces. I think all due to Anupama Chopra. And I hope you will continue to be part of Literature Live and spread the word, which is what we are doing. The Front Row is a wonderful title for a book which I've just been leafing through. But Anupama is a person I have admired, and I don't know about you, but on Saturdays when the Hindustan Times comes to the door, the first thing I do is look at her film review. And I read it before I read the sports page, which is for me a huge thing. Of course, she's been an excellent TV show host, and I think the book springs from that. She's also a writer, author. She's written a book on Shah Rukh Khan, and now she's the Mammy Film Festival director. So that's a lot of hats. She's also the infinitely better half of someone called Vinod Chopra. Now, Vinod Chopra and I go back a long way, and I must tell you that I financed his first movie. I was heading the NFDC, and he came with his jhola and his script in the jhola, and we gave him the grand sum of 5 lakhs of rupees.
I have to tell you why my film is called Vinod Chopra Films. Because when I filled the form, director's name, Vinod Chopra. Producer's name, he said, producer. You write, no, Vinod Chopra Films. So I wrote Vinod Chopra Films. So Vinod Chopra Films is all thanks to Anil Dharkar. Thank you, Anil. Thank you.
Of course, the evening is not about Vinod Chopra, but about his infinitely better half. In the front row, you will find interviews done with a lot of eminent people. I had first assumed it would be only about Indian directors and actors, but we of course have Amitabh Bachchan, who talks about what it is like to be called God, and Shah Rukh Khan, who talks about not being God, but being an employee of the Shah Rukh Khan fan club. There's Amir and Salman, of course, but there's also Martin Scorsese, Ang Lee, Steven Spielberg, Nicole Kidman, and so many others. It's a book I think we're all looking forward to reading. So Anupama, congratulations and all the best. Will you come up?
Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for coming. There's so many of you, and this is so staggeringly beautiful. I hadn't thought of this at all when the Anil and Literature Live invited me. So thank you. Really, this is amazing. Taj Lands End. Thank you, the team at HarperCollins. This is just phenomenal. You know, the front row has a very special place in my heart, so I'm really grateful that so many people have turned up for this. We shot the show for 2 years. It ran from 2012 to 2014, and me and my very amazing all-woman team. There's Smriti Kiran in the front row, and there was Sonal, and there was Kalpana and Ishani, who's running around desperately trying to figure out where Kangana Ranaut is at this moment. So she's still doing production. We all really moved into Mehboob for 2 years. And there's, of course, Chirag, who did the sound, who's also here. Thank you, sir. There's Hemant, who shot it. There were all my fantastic bosses at Star. Gaurav Banerjee is in the room. There's Rasika. There was Nimisha. Our hope and our idea was to really create interesting, engaging, and entertaining conversations around film. Film journalism has become a very strange and intriguing beast in the 20 years that I've been doing it. It's really changed. When I started, my mom's in the first row, and I remember I worked for Movie Magazine, and I'm talking about 1989, and my mom was like, oh my God, you're a gold medalist from Bombay University and you're going to write about film stars. And I said, but that's all I want to do. And I've been doing it since then. But back then, there were very few of us who did this. Mainstream newspapers, mainstream magazines, and it's impossible to imagine now, didn't even carry stuff about Hindi movies. I mean, they were considered infra-dig. You didn't, it was sort of opium for the unwashed masses. And there were very few of us doing studio rounds. There were no minders, there were no managers. We would go into Film City and just go from set to set. I mean, it's unthinkable now, the layers we have to go through to access any celebrity. So it's become a space where we're really consumed. Our minds and our media is really consumed by films, but more by celebrity journalism. I was reading an article in HuffPo, and the first line was, celebrity journalism is like crack. Americans are addicted to it. So are we, frankly. It's everywhere. I think film celebrities especially have become sort of omnipresent entities. They're always on. If they're not on a screen, they're on television, or they're in an ad, or they're on a dance show, or they're cutting a ribbon. And it's interesting for us to think about what are the rules now, when so much of what you do depends on access to the same 10.5 people. I mean, there's lots of my journalist friends here, and we all know the 10.5 people we're all chasing every single day. So what are the ethical implications of that? What are the rules of that? How do you create engaging conversations when in a sense, celebrities have become what an American film critic, Richard Schickel, called intimate strangers. We just know too much about them. We know that Aditya Roy Kapoor fired his driver because he was rude to his parents. I mean, why do I need to know this? It's become slightly surreal almost. So in that environment, what is the role of a responsible journalist? What is a responsible film journalist? What is the role? And how do we create conversations that have depth, that have shelf life, and that adds something to your lives as viewers of film, as consumers of films, and as people who are interested in these people. So should I invite people up, or you'll do it? So I'm going to invite my partner in crime, Rajiv Masan, and Arunabh Kumar, who, if you don't know, you should know. As soon as this is over, get on YouTube and look at the viral fever and look at what this man does. And at some point, Kangana will join us. Ishani, do we have an ETA? 5 minutes, folks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think we should wait for her.
Should we not wait for her to come in? Yeah, maybe we can just begin the conversation. Oh, I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I'll sit
Whilst
here.
we wait for
You wanna
Kangana,
sit?
should we
Yes.
can we have a clip of the front row,
Yeah,
please,
please.
whilst we're waiting for Kangana to join us?
So we end up doing these interviews, and then the next week, we end up slamming the movies. And, Saif Ali Khan once said to me, I do this chat with you and you're laughing and I'm having such a good time. And then the next week I see a review and I'm like, damn, I thought she liked me. So, Rajiv, is it hard for you? How do you negotiate it?
It is. It's insanely hard. You try to be entirely sincere to both jobs separately. You try to, when you're doing an interview, you try to create an engaging interview, you try to have an engaging conversation, and when you're doing the review, you try to just look at it objectively and not be consumed by the fact that you know this person, you've known this person, or that the person has put in a lot of work, because everyone puts in work, right? Even the worst films, I mean, there's been love and effort put into them, but it's hard, and I'm sure that biases creep in. You try for that not to happen, but you can't please anyone. So that list of how many people stop talking to you because they're doing interviews with you, but then you slam their film next week, that list has grown very long. That's our little secret, right? Just the actors that you see not appearing on our shows for too long when they don't have a release, it's because they're not talking to us.
Well, I'll tell you, Akshay Kumar doesn't talk to me. Does he talk to you?
No.
So Rajiv and I saw Rowdy Rathore in London, and we both just hated it, and we never exchanged notes. Okay, it's a professional.
We actually sat in different rows.
Yeah, we sat in different rows, and we don't ask each other because that will invariably influence the other person. And then we look at our reviews, and 1 star, 1 star from Rajiv, 1 star from me, and the director was Prabhu Deva, who then I interviewed about a year later. Yeah. Okay, and he said, "Madam, I remember your Rowdy Rathore review," and I was like, "Damn, he's going to say something. He's on my set. I'm his host. He's a guest." And he said, "Now you dance. I will review." I thought that was outstanding.
I ran into Prabhu Deva at a cinema hall. I actually saw him, and I ignored him because I knew he's going to ignore me.
Right, so
I said, "Let me not go close." He came up to me and said, "You saw me. Hello." Some of them are nice. Some of them can take it.
Now, Arnab, of course, is the next level of celeb journalism. He is doing these incredible comedy sketches, through the viral fever. Yeah. There's one very funny one. So he does it's Barely Speaking. It's called Barely Speaking, and it's on YouTube. And if you go there, now what's amazing is that he's getting celebs to hire him to mock them. They don't talk to us. They hire him.
Contacting us. I think he definitely wants to do something with us.
He's lost 2 big journalists from it.
No, but one sketch they did with Shah Rukh Khan. They have Biswapati, who's the comic who's imitating Arnab
Who's the real Arnab.
Who's the real Arnab. And so he's asking Shah Rukh, how many awards have you won? And Shah Rukh says, some 200 something. How many of those have you bought? And Shah Rukh very seriously says, the first 150. After that, they started paying me. And this is all part of the script that these guys are writing. So has the definition of celebrity changed? Have they changed?
See, I think change has definitely happened because 10 years back, we wouldn't have started this event if the central chair was empty. But now we have, so I think definitely... So I think that has definitely been one of the most important changes, and everybody is cool, and I think the guest is going to be very cool that okay, I was late. So change has definitely been there. I come from a very small town called Muzaffarpur. It still has no electricity, and so I have very vague memory of movie journalism, like how Anu was saying. So in any of our friends in our mohalla or colony, if they started buying Kingstar or Mayapuri or Screen magazine, we knew that he was hitting puberty. So I think that was the definition for us for movie journalism then. But today when I go to my small town, my friends from my mohalla wants to know which is the latest review, and they all want to know who's the guy who gives the least amount of stars, so that they can really know, okay, this is the person that we should read the reviews and watch the movies.
They evaluate that from the least amount.
Yeah, I think that's where Rajiv wins.
Not a good reputation, clearly.
But of course, some things haven't changed. I think,
Kangana, come. Yeah. Come.
Please, guys, let's give her a big hand.
Come on. Hello.
Hello, congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Come on.
Hello, sir.
See you, how are you? Very good to see you.
Hello, hi. Nice meeting you.
So Kangana, we've just started and we're talking about celebrity journalism.
Okay. Enlighten me on that a little bit.
So Arnab,
Okay, so good evening everyone. Sorry, I'm a little late, I guess.
No, I think that's the discount that you get for being a celeb in India, I think. So I was just, I think what has changed majorly would be this medium. I think the most important thing that we need to acknowledge is the power of this new medium, which
is digital?
Which is digital, which is internet. I think that technology per se has really changed a lot of things. We have to first acknowledge that, because initially also people used to sit in their colony and make fun of people or may not like or dislike a celebrity, but now they do it on a medium which comes back to you. So people used to criticize, like, dislike, comment every time. Even our fathers used to do that, grandfathers used to do that. But now we have a fascinating technology which throws it back to your face.
It's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Trust me.
So I think that is what has really been the crux and the root of the change, that, you know, it all comes back to you and it's just instant. So one bad tweet and somebody is replying to you and firing away. So
But Kangana, you are not on Twitter.
Yeah, because
Why
I'm
not?
very sensitive. I can't really take all of that, you know. Especially, and also I think it's not easy to be, you know, where we are. There's so much work pressure and there's so many expectations. And, you know, I don't know about others, but I started very young. And like I told you in my interview, that I'm very, I'm sensitive and I take criticism very seriously. Like, I wouldn't really believe that people can do it for fun also. Like, for me, it's like a proper feedback. Okay, so you really said that I look like a bitch. So you, like, what are the, like, from which angle? So, you know, I would take it really seriously and would want to make it a constructive thing for me and my personality and the work that I do. So if people are doing it for fun or to be nasty or just because they are having a bad day, you know, I can't deal with that. So I think there are all kind of people out there and I don't have to know everyone. It's okay.
But, you know, Kangana, and we showed them a clip, Kangana, clippings from the front row, and that interview where she talked about how you don't prepare women like trained dogs to be given away in marriage.
that interview went viral. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a part of social chatter for a long time.
For a long time.
Yeah.
That was the single most successful interview we did in 2 years.
And the best part was that when it went viral, the tagline or the headline was that you won't believe who said that. Like, I was like, why would I be the last person who could talk like that? You know, they were like, the actress spoke and you won't believe who the actress is. And I'm like, you know, they definitely don't have the impression of me that I have of me. So there was
There's
a
a disconnect there.
bit of a revelation.
No, but I think the credit for that really goes to you, because she spoke very honestly about the struggles of being an actor. You know, she talked about sitting on a set all day, or on a film like Double Dhamal, or you know, one of the not so great projects that she's done, and why you would need to do it. And she was very funny, and she said, well, once you're a, you know, semi-famous person, you can't exactly go away and be an intern at a magazine. You know, you're a semi-famous intern.
Engineer, because, you know, she was there in 2 movies and now I can't do it.
But you know, I will not take credit for that interview, Anu, seriously, and we spoke about it. Also because around that time I was promoting Krish, and that was actually a promotional interview for that film. And when the interview went viral, the messages that started to come in, I was confused about the interview people were talking about. I didn't know it's your interview. They were like, oh, we saw this and the depth of your personality. I'm like, okay, fine. When the phone calls and the messages became very serious, like 100 messages a day or things like that, and I'm like, what did I say? And I said, this is the interview with Anu, and Anu doesn't ask you, you know, like really sensational questions, and you know, she doesn't really get into that. So I said, what did we say? I don't really remember anything, you know, but when I went through that again, I realized that she, for the first time, there was, you know, an interviewer who was wanting to know me, like really me, not the person or the perspective people have of me. Like, she was interested in exploring the human being I was, and I had so much fun talking about it. Like, I'm usually very agitated when I'm on stage or in any interview. Very. But in that interview, I couldn't believe we were having these really free-flowing conversations, and I was a bit, you know, like, you know, it was a learning experience that could also be an interview first when you're, you know, so happy to talk about things that people generally don't talk about. You know, who's interested in those kind of questions? And then it went viral. So that was the, like for me, I've never had an experience like that before, but that changed a lot for me. Like people, like I said, they couldn't believe the actress it was.
But Rajat, how do we, as interviewers, honestly, that was a great interview, but it's not often that you get those. So I always wonder that what am I not doing as a journalist that I should be doing to have more really engaging conversations? What do you do?
I think that as much if the actors are to blame that they don't speak candidly and freely, I think that we have to take responsibility for it. I think that we tend not to create engaging conversations. I think that the media tends to just ask similar questions. We're not again, I think it's funny, it's both parties equally responsible. When you talk about films, they don't want to talk, a lot of actors don't want to talk about too much about films because they probably don't, a lot of them don't know very much about the films that they've made. They've not watched the film before, just like us, they haven't watched the film either. Most of them will tell you, you need to watch the film for this. But then you're left to ask questions about your life, and invariably that will involve questions about one's personal life and romance, which they don't want to talk about either. So you're really kind of stuck in a situation where they don't really want to talk at all. I mean, invariably the question they want to answer is, what were the moments you remember from the making of this film?
I think so.
And for the longest time, I was asked question, like 5-6 years ago, I was asked the question, who would you think be the next generation star, Deepika or Sonam? I'm like, me. They're like, oh, you're very funny, tell us the answer. I'm like, me, why not me? So like, no, we want a serious answer. I'm like, okay. So, so they're all very predictable questions, and some of them can get very hurtful also.
But I think there's one thing that I've observed is whenever I watch a lot of these interviews being done, so there is something which is going on in the current affairs. So let's take something in which Mr. Rajiv Mashand was also involved. So you will have different sort of interviews. So even if there is a chautha of some person happening, and then there is celebrities attending that, even then there will go ki, acha aapka AIB roast pe kya ho gaye? So I think that is something which makes me wonder. And another fascinating visual example of this would be whenever I go to airport. So airport has unfortunately become the only place to buy books and magazines and everything. And you see this wall of magazines put there. So you have magazines ranging from India Today to Newsweek to architecture, and even a magazine on architecture and window paint designing has a Bollywood celebrity on its cover page. And I wonder, so I saw a one-page ad where we had Hritik's biceps representing architecture and iron ore steel exhibition that was happening. So I mean, I wonder that where are the successful people? I mean, I'm sure C.N.R. Rao, who is a physicist, he's a celebrity in his own circuit. There are many people who are, but I think वो मेरे पिताजी कहते थे कि इंडिया में सिर्फ 3 तरह के लोग जाने जाते हैं, नेता, अभिनेता और क्रिकेटर. इसके अलावा कुछ बनोगे तो nobody will know you. So I think there is some movement of truth in that.
I also think that, to be fair, that's changing. Occasionally, as the Kangana interview on your show proved, when you go with great questions, when you go prepared to have a good interview, they will come. And I think that the actors and talent, Bollywood talent, is actually hungry to have intelligent conversations now. I know we occasionally do the round tables, the Bollywood round tables, and it's interesting because the first year we did actors, we did directors, we did writers, we did everything but actresses, because you know that you're not going to get 4 actresses together. And it is a cliche. So the next year I said, let's give it a shot. And the first call we made was Kangana, and she said yes. I was like, great, that's 1 down, 3 to go. And it was amazing. We actually got Vidya and Deepika and Nimrat, and it was great, which really we didn't anticipate. It's also, I know it's the cliche, but there is some truth in that. You rarely get 4 actresses who are willing to sit there and talk about their careers and their process. And the great thing was that conversation was not about their personal lives. It was about their process, their ambitions, the direction they want to take their career. And so I think that is changing. And then we've done it again. We did it again the next year. So clearly it is changing.
I think your episode with Kangana had the first mover advantage. I think that was the first time that an interview was happening where an actress was able to make fun of ki, then there is one line, even if you are half asleep, you can go, anyone in the world can deliver it. That's really a very funny take on that. So I think, that honesty is, I think when we see the comments on any videos, I think every single person throughout this country's corners are rooting for that honesty, and they can see through you, and that's what they admire. And it was the first time.
Arnab, you talked about, Hritik's biceps selling whatever it was selling. So the truth is that actors and actresses are now, they're just required for everything. And access to you is so critical for all three of us. Like I said, what are the ethical implications of that? Can we afford to piss Kangana off?
No, I think access is not a problem for us anymore. I think everyone.
She said no, off with her head. No, yeah, I'm sorry. What?
I think when I started it 3 years back, that time people used to celebrate an open champagne bottle on 50,000 views. So that was the small size of this medium. Today, an average viewer of anything decent gets around 1 million viewership. So I think like what happened with television, like once the stars and once the filmmakers and the powers that be realized that okay, this medium which is television serves 10 million people, 20 million people, so let's be on that screen and let's promote ourselves or the movies or our work. And I think that is what has happened. I think there is no science to it, there is no trade secret. What happened, this medium, internet, gathered a lot of traction, so we now have 3 million, 5 million viewership. And who wouldn't want to cater to that? Who wouldn't want to talk to that?
So basically you're safe and Rajiv and I are messed up.
Yes.
है ना? ये यही बोल रहा है.
I think so. I mean, I don't hope so, but yeah. But anyway, half of them have stopped talking to Rajiv, and because of his latest incident, he has stopped talking to the other half. So I think I was just gazing for an awkwardness between the hug, so that I could know whether he has done some bad review of her. And
No. Kangana talks to both of us. We're good.
I have tremendous respect for,
Thank you. No, but
Rajiv and Anu.
Kangana, tell me, what do you look for in an interview?
I don't go with expectations, Anu, because I feel that I've been there for a while now, and I've been through interviews where they don't even allow you to complete your answer. They ask you a question and like, "Acha, okay, usko chhodiye." Okay, fine. So you don't want to go with any expectation, and you just want to go with the flow. That is what I look for. But like you do have people like when I go for your interview, I definitely look for great conversations and great angles which I must have not explored in my mind. Like the questions that you asked me, I never really sat back or thought about them or ever sort of went through making those decisions the way I that day spoke about it. So yeah, so I think it depends, like I said, depends a lot on the interviewer and how comfortable they make you feel, and the intent of the person also. When they're asking you questions, you just like someone like me who at 28 has seen half the world. Like I know when I see a person that what that person is seeking from me, and sometimes you give them what they want, sometimes you don't. I'm pissed today, I don't want to give any sensational lines. And sometimes the conversation is so genuine, and the person is genuinely wanting to know who you are, and we are more than happy. Like who is not more than happy telling them who we are, how we got here, and what makes us. Even the film companion thing we did, you asked me the masterclass. You asked me about the depths of the craft that I've developed over the years, and I can't share that with anyone. Like even sometimes then if I tell Rangul that I cracked this like that, my sister or my brother, they'll be like, wow. So they won't understand that language, so so I was so happy to talk about it, and you valued it. So for me it was something that I treasure and I value as well.
And what's the one thing that really pisses you off?
Well, it depends on the kind of day it is, but usually, of course, like the shallow conversations and obviously the repetitive question, and the person is recording and taking your interview just because they are asked to, and they have to go back with that interview, and you are just one of those people. Like they just kind of
it's a job.
It's a job, and you have to just give those repetitive lines. बहुत अच्छा लगा इनके साथ काम करके, बहुत ही प्रोफेशनल हैं, टाइम पे आ जाते हैं, और मुझे भी अच्छा. और एक आखिरी क्वेश्चन, they cut you off in between because they have to go, so you meet all kind of people.
It's funny she says that, because as journalists now I know I make sure that I don't ask those questions, because that's exactly the answer you're going to get. What was it like to work with this person? Like she's going to tell you that he was a pain and it was horrible and I never would have worked with him again. She's never going to tell you that, right?
Exactly.
Maybe you, Anu.
But another thing that just kind of drives you mad is वो अपनी फिल्म का डायलॉग सुनाइए.
I think that's. I mean, we as viewers also get very. What is that?
You know, okay, like it took me 3 days to, you know, do that, and how can I do it here now? Okay, dialogue nahi suna sakte, so can you please dance? On that song, please. No, it's okay. We can, you know, we have to wrap it. One thumka, please. Like, you know, so I don't know, people do that. I mean, actors are very gracious and very nice who do that. I've never got off my chair and done a thumka for anyone or things like that. You know, and I make sure that I convey that to them, that, you know, I don't look at my craft like that, where I can just get up anytime and do the kind of things that I, you know, do in movies. I respect my work, and I cannot, and it's impossible for me to display a word from my character or a particular nuance, you know, on TV, television like that. So I think somewhere media needs to have that sort of respect for, I don't say that every actor approaches their craft like that, not all of us, but you know, like everyone has a different approach to actually get onto this table and, you know, charm you all and, you know, seduce you all, but all of us are not the same, you know. Few people have their own personalities, and I think interviewers somewhere tend to think all actors are just the same, you know. Like, I am so shy, like every time I try to get on stage, do a show or anything, I've had like major panic attacks and palpitations and things like that. I can never dance on stage. Most of the time I don't go for awards because I get so nervous, and I am here today because it's you, or I don't usually do, you know, like very personal, intimate this thing, because I have fucked up way too many times. And, you know, I hope to keep to myself, and so कहते हैं ना, अपनी इज्जत अपने हाथ में होती है.
Arnab, do you think comedy is the key to breaking images, to getting a different spin on celebrity?
I think since the time of Premchand only, whenever we have tried to tell truth to the society, or we have tried to deal with it, if you deal with it in any other manner other than comedy and humor, I think it has faced very dramatic and bad consequences. Like when we created Barely Speaking with Arnab, a lot of people think that okay, it's a show where but the whole agenda was, we were inspired with a couple of shows, like there is one show called Between Two Ferns, and there's a show called Ali Ji in the House, and there is of course some inspiration from Mr. Rajiv Masand, the way he, you know, he reviews the movies. So we thought that why not humanize the guests? I think, you know, because when we imagine that when a celebrity talks to her friends or his friends, they talk to them like people, and when you talk to your friends, you बोलते अरे यार तू क्या कर रहा है यार, क्या बेवकूफ़ी कर रहा है, तू क्यों ऐसे कर रहा है, और बोलते हैं हाँ यार ये गलती हो गई यार मेरे से यार, मुझे नहीं करना चाहिए था ये. I think that conversation is a part of us being human. It cannot be that somebody has become a star, then he has stopped having that conversation, and we just try to capture that. So even, I mean, when Shah Rukh, whose stakes are so high, and he was willing to sort of come on stage and face these questions, forget that. When Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, who is like a politician, who is a leader, who is having his own...
You recently had him on your show.
Yeah, he is recently having, I think he keeps having things. So he, imagine the man who is always in the midst of something. He agreed to be on the show.
And so they had Arvind Kejriwal, and then they had the fake Arvind Kejriwal.
Yeah. I think Jitu is here, and he met him, he said, you do better Kejriwal than him. I do, you know. And I just said, I hope he does the same when it comes to politics. So he said that, okay, I would love to be a part of this. So we made this question that, so when you went and proposed to your wife, how did you do that? So he said he actually did this in real life. He went to a room, knocked the door, and said, I want to marry you. So then we cracked the joke that अगर वो नहीं मानती तो वहाँ पे बैठ के धरना देते, ठीक है? And did you have a doubt about your engagement 46 days after you were engaged to her? So I think, you know, and he was, because all of us are humans, and I think we appreciate these kind of jokes, and that is what we intended to do. That okay, let's break the PR machinery manufactured image that they have been attuned to for such a long time. Yeah. Let's break that. Let's make them sit in front of a fake meanest host that can be there in this country, and let him ask brutal questions, and let them be friends, and let them talk to them like friends, and that is what we've tried to achieve. And Pariniti was a spot.
Well.
I'm telling, we were scared to tell Pariniti that we are coming to you with jokes like तुम्हारी अगली मूवी का नाम शुद्ध देसी घी होना चाहिए, शुद्ध देसी रोमांस नहीं. We ourselves were doubting it, but they said no, let's do it, because so I think the younger crop of actors, I mean, no offense to the elder ones, but the younger ones are way more cooler. Thanks to you and thanks to a lot of people, they are one of us. When we talk to them, there is also less inhibition in meeting celebrities. So now you will see normal people on airport or on shoot, they will say hi to you as if, you know, they relate to you. Initially, we used to be like intimidated by, okay, Mr. Amit ji is there, or Amir sir is there, or Shahrukh sir is there, but now they talk to you like friends. I think that is a leveler, and again it's happened because of this feedback mechanism which internet has given us. So I think.
Kangana, how invested are you in the manufactured PR image? How would you be willing to break that? I mean, you're a 2-time national award winner. Ladies and gentlemen, please, round of applause here. Come on. You know, like outstanding. Yeah. You know, but do you care about it? How invested are you in that?
Like I said, you know, I don't know, as much you try and be thick-skinned, it does matter what people think of you, and especially when you are in this business where image is everything. Not everything, but it means a lot. Like, image means a lot. The kind of roles that you get, if people identify with you and the character that they offer you, also then also that, you know, leads to the kind of brands that you get. So overall, the business is completely based on the kind of image that you have and the perception that you have. So it does matter. Also in this age, and you know, in this time when everything is so spreads like wildfire, maybe not manufactured PR or things like that, but you at least don't want people to have, like, before your interview, no one really cared to know who I was as a person, and no one really thought that I could, like, you know, like in their own words they wrote that this is the last woman we thought would talk like this, you know. So I'm like, so this is the thing. So people have their own, you know, preconceived notions about people who come from the outside or not. Around that time I wasn't that successful and people weren't even willing to take my interviews, and you did it with a lot of passion though, and I was more passionate to talk about my life. But you know, like back then there weren't many people who were so interested and invested in my life or my struggle. That was commendable, and I'm grateful for that, and my brother jokes about it a lot, but when your interview went viral and he was like, I hope it was a movie, would have made 100 crores. Because it's viral, it's everywhere. I'm like, yeah.
Which movie was this for? This Krish?
It was for Krish.
Yeah.
It was for Krish. It was 2013 for Krish. Last question, and though I'm having a lot of fun, but I know you have an early shift.
And she takes her craft seriously.
She takes her craft very seriously. No,
I'm not coming on your show. Where you make fun of
Stop laughing now. It's not working.
No?
no.
You know how many times Queen has been played in my office? You know, we must have lost on business because of your film. You know,
one of the big sort of conundrums I have in my life as a professional journalist, and I'm old school, I'm a print journalist to begin with. I was trained as a print journalist. I went to Northwestern University. I was taught that advertising and editorial are two separate things. They're church and state, and never shall the twain meet. And now we live in a world where you can buy your own press. It's extremely disturbing for me. I don't know how to get my head around it. I cannot make peace with it. How does it impact on you as an actor when you can actually just buy and construct your own interview and then wake up in the morning and look at yourself and say, wow, you can create your own myth. You can just do it. What does that do?
You know, I really don't have much to say about it, but you know, it's very harmful for the business part of our you know, craft, because you spend so much money buying these media nets or full page ads, or you know, to build perception, and then you want to save that money and not put it in the film and do things like that.
You put it into marketing instead.
Marketing instead, and no one knows how much it is benefiting, you know, from because film like, you know, for example, Queen. I mean, it just did well on word of mouth, you know, and eventually the content has to be good, but it's true that people are way too invested in the in the buying part of it, you know, like they want to buy everything from reviews to media net to opinions to blogs. Everything is bought these days, which you know makes very hard for small filmmakers and the ones who are very genuinely, you know, trying to make cinema.
Rajiv, does it bug you? Does it bug you?
It does. And now there's not even a distinction between what is paid and what is unpaid. So you're reading material and you don't know. I mean, you know, but you're meant not to know, and it's dangerous. It's just dangerous. It's what breed of journalists are being created. It's scary. I mean, for a younger breed, they don't know any different. They don't know of a time when they were two separate things. When advertising and journalism was two separate things. So it makes me very uncomfortable. It's very dangerous.
But we shall hope, and we have Arnab to give us honest feedback always.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think that's one of the trickier and leveling part of digital medium is that there is only so much of buying that can happen. So because every single viewer is very omni-powerful, they'll just do a click and close the thing because they don't like it, or they'll go ahead, comment it and like it because they really feel for it. So I think till now, fingers crossed, there is no buying and selling happening on that medium, and we hope that we keep it like that and maintain it. And
yeah, but you can manipulate perception of people because everyone is not, you know, sort of molded to think that way. What they watch on TV or they read, they tend to make their opinions based on that because
they believe it.
Yeah, because you know, and why I stopped reading paper, which is very harmful, and watching TV is because they don't tell you news. They tell you perception, what you should be thinking about this news, you know. Which is wrong because you're feeding my brain. Like I'm not allowed to make a perception of this particular event or this particular piece of news or action taken by government or some rape case that happened there. You're telling me what I should be thinking and what is actually happening, because you should only give me the news and then I will think what is happening, you know. So this is also the difference between actually the reporting and actually, you know, actually trying to form the perception of people.
So you don't read papers at all?
That was supposed to be a secret. Call me on your show and ask me who the president of India, and I'll be like,
no, but Kangana, do you read your own interviews? Do you see your own press? Not at all. Really?
No.
You don't want to know what they're saying?
No, because I'll be like, oh, I didn't mean that. Now I'm disturbed. No, I'm, like I said, you know, I don't know, I just keep to myself because there's no point anyway, because you just, you know, you just want to allow that much to happen on its own, and I think it just makes people controlling, that I want to control everything, what people are thinking about me, I want to control that, what people are writing about me, I should know and it should have happened or would have happened. And when you are in a place, you know, like as insecure as an acting job, you tend to be so controlling and annoying. That is what I've learned from my seniors. So don't be like them. Don't read paper. Don't see your interview. Don't worship yourself, you know. So just let it be.
Don't believe your own press. Yeah, I think that's fundamental, especially when you can buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't believe the products that you're buying, I think.
Indeed. Arnab, Rajiv, Kangana, thank you so much.
Anu.
Thank you.
Pleasure
Thank
here.
you guys.
So interesting to see them stop clicking and listening.
Also, congratulations on your book.
Thank you. So we have to now unveil it.
Oh yeah.
Grab one, guys.
I'll grab two.
So much for.
I'm so sorry.
No copy from me.
No copy for you. Wait, she's got two.
I've got two. You can hold one.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming and listening. It was so much fun. I think we should keep going.
So we are doing another episode in which
I'm going to make a move now. Okay.
I know. Thank you. And I'm going to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Kangana ji. Oh, that, huh? Solo. Come on. Listen, that was so much fun.
yeah,
Of course I will. Of course I will.
I started Anu on her third book, then I realized it's her fifth book.